Hello everyone and welcome to our Little Sprouts Storytime here at Clark County Public Library. I'm Miss Alissa and this is our story time geared for preschool ages about 3 to 5, but all are welcome to join us, especially for our topic today. So when it comes, well basically any time of day, what exactly do we do in order to get our food ready? Well, one way or another we're going to do some cooking, right? And there's a ton of ways that you can cook stuff. Maybe you just put stuff together to make something like a salad or a sandwich. Maybe you have to put something into the microwave. Maybe you put something into the oven or do something on the stove. All of these are different ways to cook, right? There's a ton of different ways depending on how good you are at it or how quickly you need to make something. But there's a ton of different ways. Oh, and just thinking about it makes me hungry. But we've got to, get cooking on our reading, right? So, the story we are reading today, we are reading with permission from Aladdin, which is an imprint of Simon & Schuster. So, our story today is called Amy Wu and the Perfect Bow by Kat Zhang and illustrated by Charlene Chua. You know what bow is? It's a Chinese steamed bun which has either a sweet or savory filling. It's basically kind of like a dumpling, except usually you make them a bit bigger. Anyway, they're really good. So, bow like bow, not like bow. So it's bow's a Chinese word, so you have to pronounce it correctly. Amy Wu and the Perfect Bow by Kat Zhang and illustrated by Charlene Chua. Amy can do a lot of things. She can brush her teeth, she can tie her shoe, she can even do both at once. Sorta. Can you do all those things? Okay, maybe you struggle with doing them both at once, but I'm sure you can do some of that. But there's one thing Amy cannot do. She cannot make the perfect bow. Sometimes they come out too small. Sometimes they come out too big. Sometimes she adds too much filling. Sometimes not enough. And sometimes they fall apart before they can reach her mouth. That's the real tragedy. Amy's mom and dad make perfect bow. So does her grandma. Their bow are soft and fluffy and so delicious. Amy could eat them all day. Sometimes she does. That sounds good. Today, Amy is going to do it. She's going to make the world's most perfect bow. Bow making is an all-day event. Amy's dad starts in the morning, mixing together the ingredients for the dough. There's time to knead. He pushes the dough. He punches the dough. Amy gives it a try too, because this is how we make bread and stuff similar, right? They leave the dough to rise. Amy keeps an eye on it just in case. It grows bigger and bigger and even bigger! The wonders of dough. Amy's dad squishes the dough down just in time. He rolls it into a log and cuts it into pieces. See? Meanwhile, Amy's mom seasons meat for the filling. After all, you gotta make it taste like something, right? So we've got garlic, pepper, and salt, and ginger, and mushrooms. Everyone gathers around the table and rolls up their sleeves. It's time to get to work. Amy's first bow turns out a little funny. So does the second. It's hard to know how much filling to add. Too little and the bow is sad and empty. Too much and oops, the cat's the only one who who's happy there. It's also hard to pinch the bow shut just right. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Amy watches her mom make the perfect bow. She watches her dad make a perfect bow. And her grandma too. They all try to teach her. Roll up the dough like this, says Amy's dad. Use just enough filling, says Amy's mom. Pinch, 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 says Amy's grandma. But that's exactly what she's doing. Do you ever get frustrated like that? But Amy's bow just aren't the same. They're too empty, too fat, they have holes in them, they leak. Maybe today won't be the day after all. Maybe Amy just can't make a perfect bow. Then Amy has an idea. The pieces of dough were cut for grown-up hands, but Amy's hands are very small. Ooh. She whispers her idea into her grandma's ear. Amy's grandma cuts each piece of dough into 2 smaller pieces, Amy-sized pieces. Now they fit perfectly in Amy's palms. Carefully, Amy rolls the dough so it's thicker on the inside and thinner at the edges. She adds just the right amount of filling. She pinches it shut. And there it is, Amy's perfect bow. She makes another and another and even more after that. She's a bow making master. Soon all the dough and filling are gone. Everyone is tired, but they're not done yet. Amy's grandma boils a big pot of water. It's time to steam the bow. Amy keeps an eye on the steamer, just in case. All her perfect bow, and all the imperfect ones too, are snug inside. The bow are done. Amy's mom lifts the lid off the steamer. Whoosh. Out comes a puff of steam. Amy can't see anything at all. Then the steam clears. There are Amy's perfect bow. They're not too small. They're not too big. They have just the right amount of filling, and they do not leak. They're soft and fluffy and so delicious. Amy eats one, then another. Then she eats one of the not so perfect bow. And you know what? It tastes just as good. And then she shares them. The end. Yeah, at the end of the day, it matters more about how it tastes, right? So, now, well, that's giving me a bit of an appetite, so I should probably work and do a dance or something, or maybe a chant. So, I have a question for y'all. Do you guys know how to do patty cake? Because it really goes into how you make food sometimes, right? Especially the dough, if you're making bread or, and like a pastry. That's it, pastries, love it. So, are you guys ready? All of it at once, and then maybe you can do it with your big person, or if you have any siblings or other people around, you can do it with them too. So, patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it and pat it and mark it with a B, or I guess whatever letter you want. And put it in the oven for baby and me. Like I said, you could do a different letter and maybe use the name of how you're doing this with. So, patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it and pat it and mark it with an S. And put it in the oven for Miss Sonia and me. Yay! Alright, so I don't have a craft for you this week. Instead, I have a challenge for you. So, at least one day this week, I'm challenging you to help your big person with the cooking. You'll have to listen to your big person because sometimes things in the kitchen can get a bit dangerous, or things can get a bit heated in the kitchen. So you'll have to listen. So maybe they'll just have you scoop something and put it into something else, or maybe they'll just ask you to set the table so that way you have plates and stuff to put your food on. After all, we are not animals. We eat off of plates or off of bowls or whatever. So listen to your big person and just try to help out. That way you can help make a meal and share it with everyone. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.